So we are here doing something a little different but exciting today. I'm here with my specialist, Mike Pisani, and Tristan here is helping us today. I don't know if you could see him, probably not. But yeah, we're gonna get started and start this new episode.
Let's do it.
So when you're like meeting a new client and you see like when you're evaluating one, is it hard trying to conversate with people when sometimes they don't want to talk to you or like when they just want to sit quiet and do their workout? Like how does that process work for you in finding out new clients?
So, I think what you're asking is, when people come in for evaluations or for their session, do you have to be sensitive with them? Do you
Right.
have to be,
Exactly.
do you have to, I think what makes me a good practitioner is I'm a good listener. I'm really, truly more genuinely interested in learning about other people than talking
Right.
about myself. So usually when someone comes in, I just ask them things about themselves, generally not even about their injury, unless it is pertinent to the evaluation or something. I usually ask, what they like to do, how do they have a big family, where do they live, how did they like growing up where
Right,
they
like
grew
the
up.
basic question.
And I think that just kind of lets people know that we're here and we have outcomes we want to see. We want people to improve in their exercise and movement, but more than anything, we're just working with people and we care about people.
Right.
And no matter what, you are working with a person right in front of you. So if they're having a day that they don't want to talk very much, that's okay. And sometimes it's uncomfortable, right? If you're just, you have a quiet session for 90 minutes or whatever. But I'm okay with that. Like,
Right.
I kind of just try to meet people where they're at.
Right.
If
I
they,
remember when I would come in, like I was so closed off and quiet, and like every time you would not like be like, hey, like trying to get more out of me, you would just
yeah.
go with the vibe and
Yeah, I mean, I try, I feel that if someone wants to sit in silence, I don't necessarily want to change that for them.
Right.
If I feel like I can make them feel better or like enhance their time here, maybe I'll try to speak a little bit more. But sometimes I think they just need to be with someone who is knowingly willing to sit with them quietly.
right,
And so I kind of,
like a safe space.
yeah, like if we're going to just sit here and be quiet for an hour, that's totally fine.
Right.
So if that's what somebody needs on a certain day or for a certain period of time, I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah, with my experiences with you, one of my favorite things that you always start off with like a conversation starter is you always go like, what'd you eat in the morning or at night or
Yeah.
yesterday? And it always works somehow, and like it always gets like a crazy conversation going about whatever. Like we always have these crazy conversations, and one of them is always we land on like film, photography, like that whole industry. And for you, what does that like mean to you when you're just able to talk with the client like on basic stuff while doing, a session?
I think it's a really big part of the work we do. We kind of have to know a lot of technical things. We need to know a lot about the body, how to set certain things up in the gym, how to make adjustments when needed. But when I'm working with a new client or with like a new specialist, like Tristan behind you, one of the things I'm usually trying to see is that, like, what are you guys going to talk about? Because some people just, it's harder for them to know how to speak with new people. And so I usually encourage people to ask questions.
Right, and find their interests.
Yeah, try to find some sort of like shared connection. Because ultimately we're going to be working with our client usually for a long time.
Right.
Like generally 2 to 3 hours per session, maybe for months, maybe for years. So I think you need to like lay a foundation of like trust, and I'm not just going to talk about myself, and I'm also not just going to push you for 2 hours and there's not going to be any opportunity to like relax and chill and get to know me. So I take pride in hearing about clients who just enjoy spending their time with me, because it's a large chunk of time a lot of our clients are giving to be here. And if you're not enjoying it, then I feel like I'm doing a disservice.
Right, right. And with that, like when you're with the client or seeing them on a consistent basis, do you find it important to create a bond with them and kind of like a friendship?
Yeah, 100%. I think I consider myself friends with pretty much all our clients.
Right.
But I think if you don't have a bond or you don't have trust, you're not going to, the session is going to be different if you just think you're coming to someone who's like barking orders at you. Like, okay, I have to be here, I have to do what they say, and we all know what that's like to feel like you have to do something. So when I'm just working out with someone who's like a friend or someone who that, they know I care about them, they know that I wouldn't ask them to do something that is not beneficial to them in my mind. any practitioner who's like a therapist, hands-on with someone, even like a personal trainer, I think if you don't have the trust of your clients, you are not doing as good a job as you can be.
As you should, right?
Yeah.
What would you recommend to people who like don't feel motivated at times or don't feel as if they want to get better? Like, what would you say to someone that's kind of down and given that they need that extra motivation to do,
I would encourage them just first and foremost to keep showing up.
right?
You're going to have these like bouts of time where you're kind of down, and then you're going to have other bouts where you're feeling more elated or whatever. So I would encourage them to like keep showing up, like be on the schedule and then like show up to your appointment. Like just show up. Usually in my experience, when you just show up, even if you're not feeling good, you're going to do well. And like you're going to, as soon as you get started, the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, once you get moving and stretching and breathing and talking, like usually you feel better. We know that exercise has that effect where you're releasing endorphins and dopamine and serotonin, all those things that intrinsically make us feel better. So I would just encourage people to get started. Even if you feel like you haven't done much or you haven't done a lot of exercise in a while, just getting started and doing those first few things will just get the ball rolling.
Exactly.
And even if you're not making the improvements you thought you would, or it doesn't seem like it's fast enough,
Right.
you got to keep the small improvements in mind too. Like, okay, are you more stable? Do you have a little bit more muscle? Are you breathing better?
Right.
And if the
'Cause
answer
for
is
me, it was the blood pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I've noticed over time, like at first I was wondering, like, oh my God, is it ever gonna get better? But what you see, like over time, the process and how you really like, if you dedicate your time to it, you can see improvement.
yeah.
How is it like when you guys have to come together to create a schedule and figure out what client goes to who, and the overall quality you give to each client?
So we all work with the same people at some point here at PW, all the specialists. So we have, I think, like 8 specialists now. So Tristan's the most recently certified. So someone does the evaluation, like I did your evaluation, Isaac. And so we have notes that we take and things that we kind of check off. Do you have low blood pressure? Do you have other like history of injuries or anything like that? And then once that's done and we've gone through the evaluation, usually the specialists get together and we just discuss how the evaluation went. How was standing, how was walking, if we were able to do that, how was, their stability sitting on the table. So from there, we all kind of begin to have an understanding of what we might do in a session. Usually the client will work with the person who did their evaluation, at least for like a couple weeks or months, because they have the most familiarity with them.
Right.
And also it's like a familiar, like they understand the client's body and what they need, but also the client knows who they are, right?
Right.
So you don't have to like meet new
Again, like, you
people
create a
every time.
bond.
Yes. And so usually we'll work with the client for a given period of time. And then if there's some scheduling situation where I have someone schedule a time you wanted to come, but maybe you're willing to work with a different specialist, those 2 specialists will get together and talk. So like, okay, here's what I've been doing with Isaac for the last couple weeks. Here's what you guys can try. And then if some specialist has something in particular they like to do, whether it's like a certain setup with standing or certain exercises, they can try those things. And that's actually really important because sometimes you try something new with someone that maybe the original specialist didn't think about doing, because there's literally thousands of things you can do with someone. So I actually like that we mix it up with clients.
Yes.
And then it also makes it less mundane for them. So they, you work with me. Maybe next week you'll work with Tristan and you'll get to meet him and he'll have you try different things. So I think the most important part for us as an organization is having good communication between specialists, because if I don't tell you how everything went and, my thoughts on that client, then the first time you work with them, you're essentially evaluating them
Going
again.
blind, right?
So, and also we have the files. So usually before we work with someone new, we will go through the file. We'll look at everything that was listed. But communication is extremely important for us and for anyone that works with clients or patients.
And last question.
Yeah.
I know that for some people, Project Walk might be like too far. Like for me, it's an hour, but some other people, it could be farther distances. And you guys have kind of created like a loyalty and a confidence with each client, like that they come back, and like it's a trust that they spend their time coming here. And what is that feeling for you, knowing that they're gonna come back because they enjoy the service you're giving them?
It means a lot. I mean, I think if you have repeat clients, repeat customers, it means your service is valuable to them. And that's what we want it to be, because a lot of our clients, have just been disappointed with other things, whether it's physical therapy or their treatment at a hospital or something. So for people to voluntarily come work out with us, travel 2-3 hours, potentially a couple times a week, it means we are, in my opinion, doing a good job offering them a service that's valuable, but it also just helps us feel maybe a little bit more responsibility, though. It means a lot. It means a lot that you and your family trust us,
Yes,
ultimately, to
100%.
come and be a part of what feels like a family here.
Yes,
You know,
definitely a family.
for
Well,
sure.
thank you, Mike. Thank you so much for
Thank you, Isaac.
being my first collaboration on this
I'm
podcast.
honored to be on 10-minute
Yes,
voice
it
memos.
was a long time in the making. We were like planning this, we had ideas, but we finally came and executed, and we did good. We did good. For our first time
You did
together,
great, Isaac. I'm so
yes.
impressed with you and what you've done, not only at Project Walk, but in school and in preparation for college. And you're an inspiration to me and to a lot of our clients and staff here. So
Thank you.
keep doing great, man.
Thank you. So, if you guys have any questions or if you guys want to see me do another podcast with another specialist, please let me know. But thank you guys so much for listening and have a good day.
Peace out. Beautiful. Nice work, Isaac.
Thank
You did good, team. You did good.
Especially you, T-Bone.
Yes.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile.
Smile and wave. Beautiful. Nice work, Isaac.
You did good, team. You did good.
Especially you, T-Bone.
Yes.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile.
Smile and wave. Beautiful. Nice work, Isaac.
You did good, team. You did good.
Especially you, T-Bone.
Yes.
Smile and wave, boys.
Smile and wave.